And so just to kind of introduce and welcome everyone. So this event is by Inner Space, and we're a little meditation center. We're actually based in Covent Garden, and very much at the heart of what we explore is always about really learning to live from the best of your own nature. That's a thread that runs through everything. And so we're very much all about managing your mind, managing your stress, and really discovering that deep sense of calm and the beauty that you have inside yourself. And we're run by the Brahma Kumaris. It's a worldwide spiritual organization that teaches Raj Yoga meditation and helps people explore personal transformation. And I'm Karen, so many of you are probably wondering why I'm here this evening. And so just to let you know, Artie is unfortunate. She's unwell this evening, so you have me instead. And I hope this finds everyone else out there well. And I'd like you to join me actually just for a few moments, just take a step back from everything of the day, and I'll just we'll just hold this gentle pause and breath for a few moments. I'll just guide you through that. And it's a lovely opportunity just to step back from everything before we go into the talk. And so just take a slow breath in and a gentle breath out. And as you step back from everything of the day, just letting yourself just settle into stillness, calm. And now, lovely, thank you. So our topic this evening is about beating the January blues. And so right now, you may be feeling like that. You may not. You might be out of here out of curiosity. But if you're feeling a little bit flat or struggling with your mood, there are some, and things are a little bit grey. Well, it doesn't, basically it doesn't have to stay that way. So our speaker this evening that we're joined by is Louise Richmond. So it's lovely to have you with us, Louise. Louise is a project manager professional. She's also part of the Inner Space team in Colliers Wood in London. And Louise will be sharing about how to bring more positivity into your day and boost your feel-good mood. And so the talk will be followed by a short meditation that Louise will guide us through around about, I think it's around about 12 minutes past 7. And then we'll have the opportunity for Q&A. So if you have any questions coming up, feel free to pop them into the Q&A or the chat. And at the end, I can offer those to Louise. And so so lovely to have you with us. I'm just going to spotlight you for everyone, Louise. And over to you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Karen. And lovely to be with everyone virtually. And I'm going to assume that you're all probably from different parts of the country and maybe even across the world. But this is one way that technology enables us to connect. So welcome and lovely to be with you. And I was thinking about this topic, thinking about. Okay, yes, it is an international audience. I was thinking about this topic, and I was thinking, oh well, it's on the 23rd of the month, so it's not long to go, really. If we're trying to beat the January blues, there's not many days left of the month anyway. So at least in a few days by next week, I think middle of next week we'll be into Feb. And so the first month of the year would have finished. And so, but we know, obviously, we know it's not just about the month. And so beating the blues, and yes, we've given blues, the word blues, to the month of January, but we know deep down inside it's not really because of the month. And yes, maybe for a lot of us or some of us, we've enjoyed our Christmas break from work. Maybe you've taken some time off, been with family or friends. You've maybe done some Boxing Day shopping or January sales or made resolutions. And now we're into a brand new year, a brand new chapter. I have to say, I personally like January a lot. I love January, not because of obviously the weather. It's grey and it's dark, but it's for me, it's the beginning of something new. So closing of one chapter, brand new, unwritten, empty pages for us to make of this whole year what we will. And it's the time of year when we tend to make resolutions, and those that are courageous and strong-willed will see them through, and those that are not so much will, then it kind of fades after a couple of weeks. But beating the blues, beating the January, beating these blues, then we know that yes, okay, the weather is not great. And we were talking at the beginning about the effect of nature, and nature can have an effect on us, and that could be something that adds to the way that we feel. But really, we know that it's much more than that. These are just additional layers. So if it's because uh, situations in our life, maybe relationships, maybe circumstances, could be health, could be financial, and all of that then is combined with the new year. And at the beginning of the new year, there is usually the giving up of things, wanting to be good, wanting to be healthy. And we can start off with the best of intentions, that this is what I'm going to do, this is what I'm going to achieve. And then we need courage and we need determination to see it through. But actually, we know that within ourselves, that when our mood is off, or when our mood is low, and it's a Monday in January, the month is long, and I don't know, let's say we're not getting paid until the end of the month, and it's a long time, and all of that is there, then yes, our mood can be impacted. But one of the wonderful things that, because I practice meditation, as was mentioned in one of the inner spaces in the southwest of London, and there we study meditation. So meditation is a practice, yes, but also it's also there's a study behind it. And so one of the aspects that we study, which has been a great help to me, is the understanding of the recognition of ourselves. And so we learn, it helps us to step back and learn that even though the weather may be what it is, situations may be what they are, people's behavior may be what it is, could be anything. We are learning how to step back from that and how to overcome that. And this is great life skills, actually. I would call it life skills. That wherever we are, that we learn that we do not have to be influenced by weather, right? We don't have to be influenced by someone's behavior. It can influence us. We can be impacted by it if we choose, but we have choices and we have options. And that's a good place to be, because we don't have to, we just have to know the method. And so as we are here together virtually, we know the importance of having I would say positive and healthy well-being, holistic well-being. That's the phrase now. It's come into our vocabulary. We understand the importance of not just health, so not just the gym subscription, not just going out running or Pilates or yoga, but the mind. The mind also needs to be exercised. And this is not the kind of thing that we are taught in schools or universities or colleges, etc. It's something that we discover for ourselves when maybe we come up against a brick wall, we come up against situations, or we can see that we're experiencing some form of inner pain over a period of time. We realize we need to do something. And we can call it blues, we can call it whatever, but we realize that something needs to shift. And so, yes, our mood can be off, our mood can be low, we can be struggling to get out of bed in the morning. But what we know, what we study, what we need to understand is that we have choices. And when we have choice, then we are empowered. And so, as we sit together here today, one of the things that I have learned along my own personal journey is the understanding of one's own self. And by that, I mean, in fact, it's a beautiful word, it's our own inner space. And that is the heart of everything. It's a bit like a seed, a seed in the ground. You don't see a seed. A seed is just a seed, right? And the seed is planted. But in a seed, it holds everything. No seed, no flowers, no seed, no apples, no seed, no anything. But the seed is hidden. And so understanding how we can overcome this change in our mood and our feeling, because inside has to be healthy, right? We have to have, and I'm sure we all know this, healthy feelings to be healthy, feelings to be positive, healthy thinking. So our thinking to be healthy, our thinking to be positive, our thinking to be empowered, and then consequently our behavior. So positive behavior, healthy behavior, and our thinking and our feeling. So thinking, or rather it's feeling, no, thinking, it's thinking plus feeling equals our behavior. So thinking plus feeling equals our behavior. If we want our behavior to be positive and healthy, then our thinking has to be that first. And then the feeling comes, and our thinking and feeling combined will express themselves in our behavior. And so, and yes, of course, our habits as well, and that creates our habits. And so mood, low feeling, feeling down, feeling unhappy. And we know that's a spectrum from one end, something we can manage, something that doesn't impact us day to day. And then we move the dial all the way down to the other end, to the extreme. And that's when this phrase of mental health comes in, and we understand all of what that means and implies, the extreme form of when there are mental health issues. And interestingly, at our work, and I'm sure that might be the case for many of you, not only is it a place of work that we have to work, but our employers understand the benefit of making sure employees are happy and healthy inside and out. And so there are many employee assistance programs at our places of work, and at mine, there's a mental health and well-being network. And that may be the same for where you are too. It's a recognition that this is something that needs attention. And so, a wonderful group where first aiders are available if someone needs to talk, if someone needs to release. And so, from that perspective, understanding that we have choices when our mood has changed, then we have a choice. understanding what it is I can do to shift negative thinking or to change the feeling. And it's a process. And so for me personally, it is first of all understanding that as we sit with ourselves, as you sit with yourself, then we understand that we are innately good individuals, innately good beings. So when we find ourselves in a negative space, in a dark space inside, when there are heavy thoughts or I'm feeling unhappy, it's a bit like in our inner space, the walls of our inner space is it has the wrong paint, it has the wrong color, and color affects our mood. And so we know that when we walk into a room, into a physical room, into a new place, into a new space, the colors impact us, which is why interior design has its place, it's important. The right colors, not even color, but tone. So color, tone, the mixtures of colors, multiple colors. And so that's external, but we have our own colors inside. And that is the paint on the walls of our own inner space. And the wonderful thing is that this is in our hands. And so, should we find ourselves in a space, in a time where I'm feeling low, I'm feeling down, I'm feeling depressed, I'm feeling unhappy, there are doubts, there are question marks, and it's all going on inside in the mind for all the multiple reasons that we can think about personal, family, friends, globally, culturally, all of that. Then we understand, we learn that we can take a step back. So to create space, and this is one tip, this is one hint. For me, it's been a recognition and understanding of the self. And I'll just stop here and just digress a little bit. Usually in this type of sharing, there are many what I would call short-term techniques that can help us in the moment. So in that moment, there are many things like I am part of the mental health and well-being network at work. And some of the things that we're taught in that program, it's early days for me, but some of the few things I've learned so far about being aware and listening and empathy, etc. But in the moment, right? It's about shifting our mindset away from the doom and gloom, shifting the mindset away from where it is at the moment, because negativity has a way of sticking. It has a stickiness to it, has a glue to it. That even though within us we don't want to feel down or depressed or unhappy, the negativity has a glue and it's quite hard to remove ourselves from that mindset. And so the shifting of our thinking in the moment is to do something external. So we probably are aware about breath and breathing, fresh air. We're aware of exercising. We're probably aware of music. Okay, a lot of dark thoughts are happening or dark feelings are happening and negativity. Play some uplifting music to help to shift their activities like cooking and dancing, journaling. So it's shifting the body to shift the energy, to shift the mindset. So an external stimuli at that moment. These are all also tips that can help us in the short term, in the here and now. And I'm sure that many of us are aware of it. And what those things aim to do is to make a physical shift in our physical energy so that that shift in our energy then has an impact on ourselves inwardly because of the mind body connection, the body mind connection. One affects the other and the other affects the other. And so those are things that we are probably more familiar with because there's lots of useful resources now available to us, particularly if you've got social media all the time. that is able to help us. So the aspect of getting in touch with nature, grounding, walking bare feet outside on the ground, all these things are there to help us in the moment. And they do help. Music, positive, uplifting music in the moment does help us, can help in the short term. And so there's short term and then there's longer term. And it's more the longer term aspect or more the underlying aspect or more the seed really that for me is important personally. And so then back to this other aspect of the self, understanding the self, the seed. And so it's been this journey of understanding that you, as you are, wherever you are a unique and individual being. And as the unique and individual being that you are innately positive. And even just to stop there and just to stay in that frame of mind, that as you are with everything, and sometimes the mind can bring up question marks and doubts and all of that, to leave all of that to one side, that you are innately positive. So we're not trying to be, it's not an affirmation. I'm not hoping, I'm not wishing, it is. So we all are, as human beings, innately positive, and we hold inside with us this clean, pure, positive energy. And so we have that. It's like I'll use the phrase spiritual DNA. You know, your DNA, you can't break it down. It's part of you. It's who you are. It's part of who you are. It makes you up. It's the building blocks of physical life. In the same way, you as an inner being, and I'll use the word spiritual inner being, the DNA of you is pure, clean, positive energy. And if we see it in the analogy like a rubber band, because we may say, okay, all right, okay, we're all innately good, but that isn't what we see maybe around us. It's not what we see when we put on the news, when we look and see what's happening in the world, in our society, our community, etc. But it's a bit like how we what's the word? A rubber band. If you think of a rubber band, a rubber band has one of its uniqueness, its ability to be stretched, right? And like a boomerang or a rubber band, it's stretched. But ultimately, the rubber band or the boomerang will come back to its starting point and starting position. And so even though in the world today we see things that we think are far removed from our innate, clean, pure, positive energy that we hold innately, ultimately at some point it has to come back. If you take water, the natural nature of water is coolness, but you take that water and you freeze it. You take that water and you boil it. But if you take the boiled water, you take the ice, you leave it at room temperature, it returns to its natural state. So when we are going through episodes or experiences of heaviness and feeling down, one thing to be aware of, because awareness is key, that these things are things we have acquired along our journey. We've acquired this aspect of feeling disheartened. We've acquired this thinking of feeling low and down, or I'm no good, or how can I do it, or nothing goes right for me, or I have this challenge, I have this problem, etc. I can't unravel, I can't move forward. That's the layer. That's like the waves on an ocean. That's the heavy waves, and that's all we see. But then we are required, there's a job we have to do or a task we have to do, which is to look below the waves and to see the silence of the ocean, the silence, the depth and the silence. So within you, and I will say for now, you, the living being, there is this innate resource within you of clean, pure, positive, uplifting energy. And it's there. But when we're going through the low mood, the off mood, and we're struggling, no, of course, that's no, we're not in touch with that. It's as though it doesn't exist, but it is there. And this is why we search for goodness. This is why we like happy people. This is why we want to meditate. This is why we are looking for answers, because we have this experience. And so, one of the tips, one of the hints, or the what's the word, or the tips to for us that we can use is to one, I guess, first one, to reconnect with our inner self. So, and this is not work to do when we're feeling down or depressed or lost or hopeless. Then it becomes a battle. This is about building this into our everyday, because you have a right to be happy, and you have a right to be hopeful, even when we can't see light at the end of the tunnel, even when the news is depressing, even when things are happy and things are not going right. We need to keep with us, but it's not an affirmation. I'm not trying to be that. I am it. It's just that we have forgotten. We've gone asleep. So at night, when we go to sleep, we have no idea we're sleeping. We're just sleeping, right? It is when we awaken that we realize, I was sleeping and I've had a good night's rest. So it's for us to connect with ourselves inwardly. No matter how much I may think I'm no good, or I don't have much good about me, or whatnot. No, 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 no. This is about leaving all of that to one side and connecting to the heart of who I am. So, one, learning how to reconnect to one's own self deep within, and this is where silence comes in. So, we've got the external short term tips that we can use in the here and now. And then we have the longer term work that we need to do, because we haven't just got to this state just like that. It's taken us time. We have been on a journey, and the journey has led us here. And it takes us some time to get back from where we were, but we can do it and we will do it. But we have some responsibility. And so that responsibility requires me to do some work to reconnect to the beauty and to that clean, pure, positive energy I hold inside. And you do hold that. You definitely do. It's guaranteed. And so, firstly, the work of reconnecting to one's own self, and then experiencing that energy. So, this is not wishy washy theory. This is practical, that you can use this practically. And again, underlining, we can't wait until I'm feeling down. It won't work. It becomes a battle. And negativity has a stickiness. It leaves an imprint. It leaves like an odor inside. And even though when negativity goes, the memory has an odor. And then we know when you think of a memory, you instantly have the feeling once again. And we need to replace those feelings. And so we replace the feelings with the positive experience of one's true self. And that's what's lacking at the moment. It's the experience of my true self, not the acquired stuff that we have acquired along our journey. And this is positivity is quiet, but it's powerful, right? Positivity and the goodness and all of that. It's not showy, it's not ego, it's quiet, it's subtle, but it's powerful. Whereas negativity, all the negative energy is very obvious, it's very loud, it's very colorful, and it leaves a mark. But we need to now shift our thinking from the negative into the positive. So, keeping an eye on time, so reconnecting to the self. And if you'd like to explore that more, the Inner Space team can share with you some details, courses, etc., that teaches us this is the longer term work, not the short term. There's short term and there's long term. The other point that I'd like to share is also then about understanding what your speciality is. We are all unique all unique beings. Every single one of us, even if we're a twin, we're not the same because we're not supposed to be the same. We are unique, but we do have our own speciality. Again, you have the right to be happy. It's your birthright. It is your birthright from birth. It is your right. You have the right to have hope, to be hopeful, to know that better is to come. That is your right. You have the right to be peaceful, to have calmness of mind, to have lightness of spirit. These are things that are ours. It's not again, it's the reality that as we move through life, these are your tools, these are your superpowers, these are the energy that you pack into your pocket and you take with you as you're getting onto the tube, as you're, I don't know, sitting in the bus, as you're, I don't know, in the supermarket, walking down the road, walking down the park. These energies, this energy, these qualities are yours. They are yours. They don't belong to someone else or to a few, or they are yours and you have them within. And now is the time, much needed, that we have to start activating and using these qualities in our everyday life to feel them. In the same way as we can feel down, we can feel inspired. In the same way that we can feel low, we can feel cheerful. In the same way that we can feel depressed, we can feel enthusiastic. It's not that one has to overpower the other, no, but we need to know the technique and the method. And to every question, there's always an answer. And so when we feel down, when we're in that mood, or when we're in that state, there's always an opposite. But it's just like going through a maze. It's knowing the techniques and the tools. So back to the second point, which is speciality. Each one of us has a beautiful speciality that is ours. Even, the goodness in us, one that's unique to us, one that has been with us throughout our journey. So a little bit of an example like that. So at work, one colleague was saying to another, "Oh, you really like to feed, to share with food." And it's true. This colleague at work, whatever she has, she would share. "Oh, would you like this? Would you like that? I got this. I brought this. I went out at lunch and I brought this. Would you like it?" And this was her part of her habit and nature. And when I took a step back and had a look and tried to was looking at this wonderful habit, it was her way of sharing love. Her way of caring and sharing was through food. So, this is a way to help us to unpack what our speciality is. There may be something that we do that makes us smile inside. When you do this particular thing, makes you smile, makes you happy. It makes you glad inside, like a light bulb goes on. And if you have time just to unpick why that particular thing makes you happy, something that's wholesome, not something that's negative, something that's wholesome and positive, that when you do it, a light goes on inside. And if you were to unpick, unravel that, it would lead you to a speciality that is yours. And it's that speciality that presents itself in cooking, or I don't know, entertaining, or there's so many ways that beautiful inner qualities can come out in our behavior. And so when you're able to unravel what is yours, and we have at least one, in fact, many of us have many more specialities, to know that this is mine, I have this, that no matter what happens, it will never leave. It can't be diminished. It's always there because it's lasted this long. And knowing your speciality, that this is one of your, I'll call it like an inner superpower. It's always there. And so when we're feeling off, when we're feeling down, when we're feeling doubtful about ourselves, feeling disheartened, etc., etc., we can remember, we can go back to our speciality and go into the experience of that. Remember how we used it, how it made us feel, how it makes others feel. It's a positive energy that you hold innately in your, what's the word, what's the phrase, in your makeup, in your spiritual makeup. You hold it. It can't be removed. This is the thing. It can't be extinguished. We can forget it, and it's very clear that we have, as a global, I don't know, yes, use the word global family. It's clear that we have forgotten, but it cannot be removed. And it's a wonderful space to sit in, to know that it is within you. But then the question arises, how do I bring it out? How do I make it alive again, within me? The other point to share is learning from others. So simple things, not necessarily the big things. There is always something uplifting, inspiring to learn from. And let's take the wonderful example of children. So children, toddlers, their innocence, their faith, that innocence in their faith, it makes us smile. So let's learn, let's take that. When you're walking outside, and it could be the daffodils, it could be the birds singing in the morning, it could be someone else's speciality. You see it in them in action. They're good at this. They're good at that. They're good at the other. How do they do that? How does he do that? Then let me learn from them. Let me take that positive behavior, that positive outlook, those positive words, those positive actions. I'm going to do that. I'm going to inculcate that into my life. I'm going to use that because if she can do it, if he can do it, then I can do it also. And so this is a technique to take in positivity, to take in good, to do it there and then, because the opposite is true. So often the opposite is true. Consciously or subconsciously, we are taking in a lot of negativity and we are not even conscious that we are doing it. One is we absorb it, and the other is that we get influenced by it. So let's take the example of the news, for example. Are you able to to switch on the news, radio, TV, listen to the news and feel neutral or feel positive? Very few people will be unable to listen to the news and turn off feeling positive, neutral, and not down and depressed and all of that. We can be influenced by atmosphere, people's attitudes, even people's body language, right? Someone's body language, someone's mood. It's a bit like what I can't think of a phrase where something jumps from one to another. It's there and then it moves and we catch it like a cold, like a virus. That's the word, like a virus. It goes from one to the other. Then the same is true positively, that I can catch. Let me catch the positive viruses that are there, but my eye has to be open to look for that. Contagious. Thank you. Yes, contagious. Let's look for the positive, contagious qualities and virtues. And then there was something else I was going to share to that point. Yes, that was it, which is to be mindful again. This may be, I may not be doing this when I'm feeling off mood and low and down, but it may just be a habit of mine. But to just to be conscious and to be aware of what it is I'm taking in. And by that I mean the way that one of the ways that we're taking a lot of information is through social media, through our eyes, through what we see. And so this aspect of entertainment, it's there to glue us. And I remember hearing this many years ago and thought it made so much sense. You know, a good film, a good box set, a good TV drama series is such that it's there to glue you. We even use the words, I am glued to the TV. I am glued, right? But that's the job of the production team. That they've done a good job if we are glued. But we have to decipher for ourselves what it is, to be aware what I'm absorbing, because entertainment takes us through a spectrum of emotion: sad, depressed, happy, joyous, terror, horror, all of this. That's the job of entertainment, right? It gives us a spectrum of emotion. And I'm sure we are aware that we're not just hearing and seeing, it's going into our inner space. And so if I'm watching over and over again sad stuff, unhappy, depressed, low stuff, horror, violence, over and over. And, you know, not to go on about it too much, but gaming, the number one games, you know, if you look at the content of gaming, what is the theme of the top 10 games in the country, in the world? You can figure it out for yourself. Um, and all of that's going in, and we're not conscious that we're doing it. You know, little bit blind, little bit sleepwalking, but we're taking it into ourselves. It has an impact. Will it not impact me? Will it be in one ear and out the other? No, we're taking it in. And there's much more that can be shared on this point, but just some high level food for thought that about our innate qualities of goodness that we hold. Really important to understand this and to accept it and then to work from that space. And so, yes, I'm conscious of time. And so I will,
Thank you.
I will,
You read my
I
cue
will,
there with the meditation. Thanks so
yes,
much.
thank you. So I will let's stop here and let's move to a space of sound, from talking and sound into silence. And so this is an invitation to stop if we've been moving around or doing anything. You go into silence, to come into silence and to be still. And so as our bodies may be seated, perhaps body is still, then for us also inside to be still. And that means to be aware, to come into our own inner space. As you sit with yourself, you have your own inner space. And this is our journey to reconnecting with ourselves. And so to bring our awareness inside, and that means into the inner world of your thoughts and feelings. You are the unique being of light, the inner being of light, the inner being as you sit with yourself, see and feel that beyond the day to day, beyond the masks that we wear, beyond the things that we do, is the real you, the inner you. And so let's connect. Let's at least be aware that there is so much more to us than just the surface. and that you are the unique inner being within, and you are filled with light. You are filled with love. You are filled with happiness. You are filled with cheerfulness. You are filled with hope. And you are filled with positivity. And these energies are yours. And you have those energies within you. They are yours to use. They are yours to feel and experience. As long as I'm able to step back from the physical and the external. And so together, let's create the thought that as I sit here right now, in this space, I am a peaceful and happy being. I am a peaceful and happy being. I'm not peaceful because of anything external. And I'm not happy because of anything external. You are peaceful. You are happy. You are light. Because you are. Because this is what you hold. That energy is your birthright. And this is the time to bring that to the surface. And so let's keep this awareness, seeing ourselves with a different pair of glasses. The glasses that take us right to the very core, to the heart, beyond the noise, to peace, to calm, to lightness of mind, to hope, real, deep hope, to happiness, and to positivity. And with that, we bring our attention back to this virtual space together. And I'll hand over to the Inner Space team. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Louise. Yeah, really beautiful how you just carried us into such uplifting feelings there. And so, yeah, I was really carried into that experience. Thank you. And you touched on many things. Yeah, this evening, I think one of the things that really struck me was, and I loved this idea, it was a really nice way to kind of check one's mood, you know, which was, what are the color of the walls of my inner world? You know, just to kind of just ask that question and just see what comes through and look at, you know, how I want to paint them and what I can use. You gave us so many tools to kind of to work with as well, you know, to kind of change the way that we feel inside, and change our mindset, whether it was looking at our own true qualities or whether it was looking at, you know, the qualities of others and how that then can color us. Yeah, I really like those things. Okay, so we have questions that have come through, which is wonderful. And so I'd like to just pose a few of these questions. Now, the first one is one of the ones, yeah, that's came through is, my mood has been low for quite some time now. And I would really like a new beginning. the new mood, new energy. You talked about choices, but I have no idea where to start and what would bring me joy. I don't even have energy to start the first spark. So, what do you suggest?
Wow, yes, that's quite a question. Yeah, so I would say usually when things are quite heavy and big, then there is work we can do on our own, but usually we need the help and support of others to help us to shift our thinking and to see things from a different perspective. And in these areas, understanding is really, really helpful to really help to understand what's happening behind all of that and to give me the tools to use. And so I think initially what I would do is would suggest to you is that there are some quite very good courses, and one of them is, I'm not sure if you've heard of it or done it, is the positive thinking course. Something that is an offer. I think the Inner Space team can shed some more light on that, but it really helps us to understand thinking, the importance of each and every thought, how to create positive thoughts, how to apply it. And we need things that are practical. I like things that are practical, not just theory. We need to be able to apply it to our everyday life. And so, positive thinking, one is mental. Within the positive thinking course, I would suggest that. And then the other side as well, physical, it's both holistic. Some of the basic things, I mean, I've observed in life over time, the big things that we know, which is sleeping right, eating well, looking after the body in the right way, sometimes even being aware of like nutrients and supplements, that the body itself needs to be healthy. Make sure that we're getting everything in the right way physically. That I think also important, and sleep and water, all the things that we know, that the top four, five: hydration and sleep, right food, and exercise, etc., and then the mind as well. Yeah, that's what I would say. I think I'll stop there. Yeah.
Great, thank you.
Mm.
And somebody else has said, I think it was referencing something you'd mentioned in the talk. How can I make myself independent from outside activities and be
Yeah.
open to inner feeling?
Yeah, it's a wonderful one of the things we practice here, which I appreciate so much, is an art, a practice of being able to step back from situations and people and behavior and their own personality. Or just big stuff, really, the big stuff and the small stuff. It's a mental exercise in the same way as we have physical exercises. And this aspect of being an observer, that I'm here learning how to create a space between what's happening outside and myself. And for that, one of the first steps is reconnecting to you as a peaceful being, as a positive being, and that we are individual. And so what's happening is supposed to be happening the way it's happening, out of my control. I can't change it. That's fine. But I'm separate from the situation. I am not the situation. I'm not the reactions. I'm separate from that. And all I have to do is just to stay in my own space. By that I mean just stay rooted in my own self of awareness and peace, and let life and all the things around me unravel, or just unfold, rather, is the word. But I stay rooted in who I am. And I think that's the key to being independent from things around, is to be stable in knowing who it is I am. And there's more to this, of course, but again, this comes from what I have learned in the what I've learned studying Raj Yoga meditation, the science behind it in terms of answering the question, who am I? Thank you.
Thank you. I'm wondering if you've got anything else to add to this. It's a different scenario, but obviously, experiencing the blues. Um, Thank you for your beautiful talk and sharing your insights. I have been dealing with a mix of winter blues and some recent grief. I found out that a colleague passed away over Christmas, How can I manage the winter blues and grief overlap? I'm feeling extremely sluggish and emotionally drained.
Yeah, I know many people are dealing with a lot, and to know that you're not alone, that I want to even use the phrase that you are loved, in the sense that we are a global family, and there's a lot of good people around. There's a lot of good in the hearts of people, and when we're going through things like grief and loss, it leaves a toll on us. But one of the things that we can do when there's grief and loss is whoever has gone on to a new chapter, a new journey, what helps them and actually helped us is to remember what was beautiful about them. So, yes, they've gone on and we're left behind in that sense, but we can remember them in a beautiful way. That is, what was their speciality? What was the beautiful things that they did? And then we can use that, and that brings a smile to our hearts, a smile to our face, and then we can use that in our everyday life, remembering them, but in a positive way. The wonderful things they did and said and shared, that is one technique to help us with loss and grief, but also knowing that it's also not the end. It's just like a new year, end of one old year, beginning of a new. So it's not that it's the end, like a full stop. It's just turning off a page and the beginning of a new chapter. That's something to think about in terms of loss and grief. And in terms of winter blues, weather blues, well, we can learn so much from nature about the seasons. There's autumn, there's winter, and we know definitely spring is coming. I was funny enough, I digress a little bit, but I was saying to a colleague a few days ago, yesterday, day before, at 4 o'clock, look outside. Lighter already. I mean, but once the winter solstice hits, that's it. Nature is reliable in the sense that it's lighter, light is coming at the end of the tunnel. And so, weather can influence us, but really it should be the other way around. We are more powerful than the weather, than the blues, than the grey evenings and whatnot, the rain and whatnot. We are more powerful than that. So we have to reclaim our inner power so that the weather doesn't influence us. We influence nature. Okay, thank you.
Nice. Um, and so, yeah, not another question, if that's okay.
Yeah.
Um, so thank you for the wonderful and calming talk. I'm surrounded by friends and family members who don't meditate or work on themselves. And, they're using the word vomit their problems all the time. Do you have any practical tips to deal with this? I feel empty and lately depressed. I just want to isolate.
Yeah, so the behavior of others can and does impact us. We know that it happens overtly and even subtly as well. And so one is to keep ourselves, if you like, keep our positivity, keep our energy but protected, so that at least we don't want to become maybe negative in approach and thinking like others. So one is that we don't want to lose what we have. We want to keep what we have. And so we need to reinforce what we have inside, reinforce our own calm, our own peace, our own positivity. That's our superpower. That's our currency. And we should not let go of that for anything, because if we are without it, then what have we got? So that we want to be mindful that I want to keep the lightness, the positivity, the love, the care that I have. I want to keep that. The next thing is, then how can I influence others? Well, we can't change anyone, right? This is something I'm sure we all accept, that I cannot change another person. A person can change, but they will change when they are ready or they've come to an awakening or an understanding. But what I can do is I can share my pure good feelings and wishes to them. I can give that to them, not through words, because people sometimes don't want to hear words, but through your feeling, your vibration, your faith, your attitude. So, and that works like a magic. It works like a medicine. But we have to, just one thing to say, that these things are not instant. We are used to things happening straight away, instant this, instant that, instant experience. These things take time. So I need to be patient, but it does work. So to share peaceful feelings, peaceful and loving feelings, appreciative feelings to members of the family, or friends nearest and dearest, but be genuine without expectation. Have no expectation back, but to give those feelings from your heart. Do it, do it, do it, do it, do it, and you will see the change that it will have. But it has to be genuine, clean, and without any expectation in return. Thank you.
That's beautiful. Thank you for sharing. And you're just reminding me actually of something that yeah, I was with one of the students recently, one of the meditation courses.
Yeah.
And she's probably been practicing meditation now for about a year. Like just a little bit in the morning, a little bit at night, and little bits here and there through the day. Um, and she said she went to hug her daughter recently, and her daughter said, Mom, you feel so calm and peaceful. And she was so chuffed. It was like those vibrations were really, connecting with other people, and they were experiencing the benefits of that. So no, absolutely. It was really lovely to hear. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it works. It really does work. It
Yeah.
really it does, and yeah, because energy flows. Energy, good or not good, it flows and moves. So it does work. It's a lovely story. Thank you.
Yeah. Um, so that kind of draws us towards our end. So I just really want to say thank you ever so much. We've had some beautiful comments coming through as well, from people that have enjoyed the talk so much. And if people are wanting to listen again, yeah, you can check out our YouTube channel, Inner Space Meditation. That's all one word. And the talk has gone up there this evening. So we'll be there. And so, yeah, wonderful. Thank you.